Hey everybody, welcome to That's Good Broncos. I'm Brandon Perna, the world's greatest football anchor that repeatedly gets shit on by the big guys. That's okay. I'll get an umbrella to start blocking that shit. But today, as the Broncos head into their bye week, I thought I would help out the coaching staff by creating a list of the top 6 areas they need to improve before the playoffs begin, because I'm pretty certain the Broncos will be going to the playoffs in this week, AFC West. And because, like every other jerk, I think I know more than the coaches do. That's good, Broncos. In no particular order, here are the 6 must-fix issues for the Broncos. I chose 6 because it rhymes with fix and arranged them in no particular order of importance because in a way, they're all related. Also because I'm too lazy to think that much about this. Number 6, running the football in the red zone. The Denver Broncos found success running the football against the Cleveland Browns, but that means very little when you consider that the Browns have the worst run defense in the NFL. Ronnie Hillman and C.J. Anderson put up 152 yards against that terrible defense. On the surface, that looks pretty good. But when the Broncos get into the red zone, they are not running the ball effectively. Just like racking up a ton of passing yards, accumulating a bunch of rushing yards means shit. Unless you can do it when it matters. And it matters most in the red zone. During their first trip into the red zone against the Browns, the Broncos rushed for 1 yard on first down, a half a yard on second down, and that does nothing except tell the defense you are not going to run on 3rd and 8. Throwing on 3rd and 8 in a shortened field is not ideal for any offense, let alone one struggling to find itself, like me in my early 20s. Quick fix number 5. Productive plays on 1st and 2nd down. Right now, the Broncos have the 2nd worst 3rd down conversion rate in the NFL, just ahead of the lowly Kansas City Chiefs. The Patriots are 1st in the league on 3rd down and have the best overall offense right now. If you struggle on 3rd down, it probably means you're sucking on 1st and 2nd down. And that's exactly what the Broncos are doing. I don't care if they run or pass on 1st and 2nd down, but they have to do a better job at gaining yards. It's extremely difficult to consistently convert a 3rd and 7 or 8, and that's the average of what the Broncos are facing. That means the offense on average cannot gain more than 2 to 3 yards on 1st and 2nd down combined. If Denver can double their production on the early downs, the Broncos offense will improve significantly. Number 4. Consistency from the offensive line. Right now, ignoring week 1, Evan Mathis has been the only consistent bright spot on the O-line, and he's been doing that with the hamstring injury. As a unit, they played better against the Browns, but still, the 4 lowest rated players on the offense for that game were Luis Vasquez, Ryan Harris, Matt Paradis, and Max Garcia. Michael Schofield was good in pass protection, but not as a run blocker. These guys on the line don't have to be great, but they need to be average. And right now, besides Evan Mathis, they are all below average. What makes it worse is that when one of them does have a good game, they seem to follow it up with a poor performance. If this line can come together, there will be a domino effect of improved play behind them. My advice would be to cheat. Hold, gouge, juice, just beat the man in front of you. Number 3, punt returns. This is tricky. The reason we currently have Emmanuel Sanders returning punts is because he's the only guy who can catch the ball. That is the most important qualification to be a punt returner, but right now Sanders has returned 9 punts for 58 yards. That's an average of 6.4 yards per return according to my phone calculator, which means we have no threat in that department. To be a Super Bowl caliber team, you need to be able to make plays in any situation. Right now, this is an area where Denver has no advantage. But if they can find a way to make some special teams returns, it could significantly help the struggling offense. Getting Brandon McManus 2 extra field goal attempts per game because of a good return or 2 is as good as scoring an offensive touchdown. Just imagine if the defense and special teams were scoring touchdowns. I can imagine it. Number 2, Peyton Manning has to stop throwing interceptions. That's it. That's the only thing he really needs to change. Number 1, mental mistakes. It's not just Peyton Manning making them. It is cliche, but like sex, the NFL is a game of inches. What that really means is that what separates a great team from an average team is microscopic. It's small, and it often does not have to do with athletic talent. It has everything to do with players who make the least amount of mistakes during a game. Peyton Manning is making too many mistakes. Demaryius Thomas is making too many mistakes. Ronnie Hillman is making too many mistakes. The receivers not named Thomas or Sanders are making mistakes, and even the defense is making some dumb mistakes at crucial times, a la Derek Wolfe or Malik Jackson. The offensive line is making mistakes. There will never be a perfect game. Drop passes will happen. Interceptions will happen. Wrong routes will be run. Holding calls putting the offense in 2nd and 20 situations will happen. But when they happen every week, you become a bad offense. Minimizing these mistakes or missed opportunities alone will propel the Broncos offense from being bad to, at the very least, suitable. I like suitable. This offense doesn't need to be a lethal threat. But if it can play mistake-free football, this team will be extremely hard to beat. My personal coaching advice is for the offense to loosen up. I know that's hard to do when you're not playing great, but I think they can adapt the mindset of the defense and smoke whatever it is they're smoking, metaphorically. There are talented athletes on this team. They just need to start making more plays. Yes, that's easier said than done, but I take great pride in saying the easy things and pretending that I know how to solve complex problems. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Make sure you subscribe here to my channel. Give me a follow on Twitter at Brandon Perna. And if you haven't listened to the podcast I host on the milehighhuddle.com called In the Huddle, go check it out. Every Thursday we post a new episode. This week we're talking to the great Colin Daniels. It will be entertaining and also disturbing.